This is the Crowdcrux Crowdfunding Podcast with Sal Briggman, where we cover everything you need to know to launch a successful crowdfunding campaign. We speak with proven entrepreneurs who've raised money from the crowd and want to teach you how to do the same. Stay tuned because we're about to reveal how to launch your dream project with your host, Sal Briggman.
Before we get started with this podcast episode, I want to take a second to introduce you to my friends at Fulfillment. If you need help shipping out your Kickstarter or Indiegogo perks or rewards, Fulfillment is the absolute best company for you. I've been working with them for a while and I can vouch for their services. They make it dead simple and take all of the headache out of shipping out all of those boxes, all of those orders to your backers and your customers. If you want to check them out, go to fulfillrite.com at FULFILLRITE.com. What up, crowdfunders? Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. My name is Salvador Briggman, and on this show, we talk about how to raise money successfully from the crowd. We get into how to launch a successful Kickstarter campaign, how to raise money on Indiegogo, and what strategies are still working when it comes to actually getting people to take action, getting people to back your project, how to make a good product, how to come up with a cool idea, all this kind of stuff we discuss with real-world entrepreneurs on this show. If you haven't yet, go and check out some of the other archives of many great ones with successful 6- and 7-figure crowdfunders that are out there. Today's episode, I talked with FLASK. FLASK is a simple, elegant, innovative brewer and coffee press machine. It's basically a really cool new way, an innovative way to make coffee, which you're going to hear about today. The campaign has raised over $170,000 on Kickstarter off of a $40,000 goal. You're going to learn a little bit more about the team that was assembled behind this project, how they did this, how they planned the launch, what worked well for them with this project, where their backers are coming from, all that kind of stuff you're going to discover here today. Now, I have one announcement here that's actually not related to crowdfunding before we get into today's episode, and that is that, have you ever wondered how I'm able to earn an income blogging? I know if you just discovered me, it might seem really weird, but I actually am a full-time blogger. I not only am a full-time blogger, I also have assistants who help out with my various online forums and my work. I have writers, etc. The way that I'm able to do that, it's kind of like, it's kind of mystical in a sense that you're able to now earn an online income from your home, from the comfort of your home, or really anywhere actually that you want. If you want to, you can take a trip around the world to somewhere like Thailand. You can go really anywhere with internet connectivity and be able to work from the comfort of your apartment. It's so cool nowadays that we have these different types of jobs and these different types of careers that allow you to do that. For me, I started blogging in 2012, and I didn't really know very much about blogging. Like, I knew a little bit, but sort of as I went, I discovered so much more. And a lot of these things that I've learned have allowed me to grow crowdcrux.com into a mainstream blog. You know, thousands and thousands of people visiting it every single month, being cited in the New York Times, in the Wall Street Journal, in CNN, so many different online publications, Forbes, etc., giving talks on crowdfunding. It's led to a lot of good things in my life. And I don't necessarily, I'm not saying that to brag or something like that, but I'm just saying that to share with you that this isn't rocket science, guys. If you're interested at all into starting a career in blogging, or starting a small blog, maybe something that you do part-time that enables you to bring some extra cash every single month to supplement your income. Maybe if you love writing, you love educating, you love teaching, you want to put your voice out there, and you want to be more of an expert in your industry, I have a great book to share with you. This took me a long time to write this book. It's more than 100 pages. It goes super in-depth with everything that I've learned when it comes to blogging. And it's called Blogging for Beginners. This is a guide to teach you how to not only start a blog, but also monetize it. Not only get started from the very early stages, but also grow it. What are the income prospects for blogging? How much money can you make? How long is it going to take? What is the time commitment when it comes to actually making this a career and making this a supplemental income stream for you or for your business? Blogging is a super powerful form of content marketing. It's a great way to get your word out there, to get your message out there. And the great thing is you can also make money from it and from the comfort of your home. If you choose to at a certain point, you can build that into a larger organization, or you could just keep it small. You could just keep it you and pocket most of the profits if you want to from this business, this small blog business. It's kind of up to you how you decide to go from there. What I love so much about being a blogger is the flexibility, but it's also the fact that I can actually do something that I love. I can research things, I can learn, I can talk to people, I can distill my own knowledge, and I can put together articles that are helpful to thousands and thousands of people online. So if you're interested in discovering that and also checking out this guide that I put together for you, this is from my firsthand experience, you can go to crowdcrux.com/blogging. That is crowdcrux.com/blogging. That will take you to Amazon, where I've released this guide, Blogging for Beginners. I hope you enjoy it if you do. And also, if you do end up purchasing this book, you end up grabbing a copy, I would love it if you give me some feedback there. What was helpful? What do you like? What do you want to see more of? I also have an online course that accompanies this book. So I'm looking to always improve that and make it even better for my community. So without further ado, let's get into today's podcast episode where we talk with the FLASK team and learned how they raised over $170,000 on Kickstarter. Thomas, I want to welcome you to the podcast. Your campaign on Kickstarter has raised over $170,000 off of a $40,000 goal. You've attracted more than 7,000 backers for your product, FLASK, which we're going to get into in just a second. And as a fellow coffee addict, I'm really looking forward to talking about this product because we'll hear about it in just a second. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So I wonder if you could get started by maybe telling us the story of how you came up with this product, how you came up with this idea and got this out there so that people could support it on Kickstarter.
Absolutely. So, I mean, the company Alpha Dementia has been around for about a little bit over 5 years. And we've been in the commercial space, building advanced, sophisticated commercial coffee brewers. That has been what we've been doing in the past. Since years, we already knew that we wanted to get into the consumer markets. We wanted to kind of use that knowledge we had from brewing, extraction of coffee and tea, and kind of condense it. Obviously, our big commercial machines are between $14,000 and $20,000, so we knew that was not going to be, a big hit on every kitchen table in America. But, if we could find a way to kind of just improve the way people are brewing at home, give people more control. Because our commercial machines is all about, giving the user control of the brew. So it doesn't mean it's going to make a better brew if you set up the parameters wrong. But, if you understand how it works and what makes, the perfect brew of coffee and tea, then you can replicate it and you can do it again and again. And you can obviously create a much better result all around.
Yeah, and that's the business also of the commercial brewer is they have to get it right. They have to have the same quality every single time because they're serving their customers.
Exactly. So I think the consistency was a big thing for us, and control, and really just create, everything we learned in the commercial space with thousands of customers buying, coffee from our machines every day. How can we bring that home? And, there's a lot of coffee machines, coffee equipment that you can buy for home right now for coffee and tea, and has been obviously for as many years that I can remember, and probably my grandmother can remember. And but we found that, how can we make it better all around? We found that a lot of equipment was very much geared towards the very nerdy, sophisticated coffee enthusiast, which is fine because that's a growing, I guess, part of the population.
Hipsters in Brooklyn love that too, right?
Exactly.
Getting super nerdy about coffee presses, that kind of such.
Exactly. So that's an important part of the coffee market, but there's also a lot of other people that gets a little bit intimidated by all this. I wouldn't even say advanced equipment, but the way the communication is made from a lot of those other devices. So we kind of looked at the French press as a start, because we felt that French press was like sort of the gateway from, a cheap Mr. Coffee that a lot of people have at home.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just totally transferred from using a Keurig. My girlfriend got me now on the French press, and I'm loving that. So I initially I was intimidated, like you just said, but I'm starting to warm up to that.
Exactly. So, I mean, the French press, I see that as a gateway to maybe a Chemex or AeroPress or something that is like really embraced by the so-called, as you mentioned before, the hipsters, or I would call them like definitely the coffee nerds. So we wanted to say that that's an important market for us, but how can we improve the French press? And the French press, obviously, it's a proven concept. It has been around for, I would say probably since the early 50s when it was brought on the market first time. But I also know that a lot of people, they feel French press, you get a very muddy cup of coffee. It's hard to clean. It breaks.
That is true.
There's definitely things about the French press that could be improved. So we basically went out on a mission and said, so let's look at everything that's out there, and then look at every device that's out there and say, what's the problem and what are the good things about it, and then try to see if we can pretty much incorporate all of the things that are missing in all of these things into one device. And that's basically how we came up with FLASK.
Looking at it right now, it's very elegant. I think it's sort of like you mentioned, a combination of a French press, but also it kind of is easy to pour. It almost looks like a thermos kind of that you would have on your kitchen table. And it seems like it works very easily and quickly. And that is the problem with the French press, is I actually broke one of mine, and it is a little bit muddy more so than if you're doing something like a Mr. Coffee.
Exactly. So I think when you do with the French press, with the FLASK, so we have a brew chamber where you make your brew. So you put your coffee in, and you have different filter options. And if you use the filter that you can say apply to your flavor, your taste profile, and you heat the water to the right temperature, which is, I would say, just off the boil when it comes to coffee, and give it about 2.5 to 3 minutes to your liking. I mean, I think it's everybody's individual when it comes to coffee taste and how they like their coffee. So for some people, I mean, we can give some kind of baseline recipe, which is 2.5 minutes, 30 grams of coffee, and then let's say a medium filter. That will give you something which has a good body, not as muddy as a French press, but a little bit more body than maybe a Chemex or something you brew on with paper filter. And I would say take it from there, and then you try that kind of coffee, and you say, well, I like it a little bit stronger, I like it a little bit weaker, and then you could just adjust all the parameters I just mentioned. But as soon as you find, so this is how I like my coffee, I like it 2 minutes, I like the fine filter, I like it with 195 degrees water, for instance. Well, then you just do that every day, and then your coffee will be very consistent and exactly how you like it every time you drink it.
So let me ask you a quick question here. So I know that you're the CEO of the company. Are you also the founder of Alpha Dominique?
I'm not the founder. I came into the company when they were about 1.5 to 2 years down the road.
And sort of what is your passion when it comes to the company? Like, do you like to market these products? Do you like to come up with the ideas? Are you sort of doing more of the operations and getting all of these people in line to create the project? What's sort of your role here with the Kickstarter campaign?
I mean, it's really to help to orchestrate, the whole thing of all the things you just mentioned. My passion is certainly design, usability, user experience. I think that's very high on my list. I think I like things that are intuitive, things that are easy to embrace, easy to love, to look at, to like, to use, and that's some of the things that I'm pushing for every single day.
When I've been talking about Kickstarter and crowdfunding with other people, people are a little bit more mainstream, I guess, in the industry. Usually they approach Kickstarter with a little bit of skepticism. Like if you have a traditional retail background or you've been selling to commercial businesses, these kinds of things, you might think like Kickstarter, like what? Why would we launch a product on there? What was your sort of a look or perspective on Kickstarter? Like, were you excited to do a Kickstarter? Were you kind of scratching your head? Why did you actually choose Kickstarter to unveil this project to the world? I
mean, I think Kickstarter is an awesome platform to reach out on an early stage. I mean, a company like ours, we had commercial products, but we didn't have consumer products. So this is our first venture into a whole new sales channel and distribution channel. And, I think this was a way for us to get a very early read on what we had created, how people would react to it. I mean, I'm well aware that, the typical Kickstarter is maybe not your traditional Williams-Sonoma Crate and Barrel customer, but it's a read. And you get somebody, you're getting a read from the people who likes to be first, who likes to see what's out there, who's exploring. And I thought that was really intriguing and interesting for us.
And I can look at your company. You guys have raised a bunch of money. You have over 2,000 customers already, still 9 days to go. And I can be like, well, this company has been created for the last 5 years. They've been here for the last 5 years. So obviously they have existing customer lists. They have so much clout in the industry. Obviously they're going to have a successful campaign. Were these people your previous customers, or were they new people, like a new audience that you tapped into?
I think for sure it's a combination. I think there's existing customer who knows us. We did a lot of work before the campaign started to reach out to everybody we knew in the coffee industry globally. So obviously some of them are from there. But I also definitely think that we reached out to a whole new crowd that probably didn't know us before.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at some of the notes that you sent me, a lot of these people are returning backers. They're people that have regularly backed other projects on Kickstarter. So it's kind of saying to me, not only are you tapping into that base that you built, but also people that are regularly on the platform. I mean, some of these people have backed over 100 projects and they decided to back yours.
Correct. And that was the whole new world for me that I did not know about Kickstarter. I mean, I didn't know exactly what is I wouldn't say demographic, but who is the typical Kickstarter. And I think we learned a lot about who that is. And it's somebody very curious. It's somebody who have been there before many times. I mean, we have some super backers that has backed over 500 projects. And so, it's people that I wouldn't say have made this a living, but it's like they're definitely spending a lot of time researching everything new coming out in the world.
Yeah, and these aren't even just people that are in Brooklyn. They're also in Singapore, Australia, United Kingdom, Canada. So it's all over the world. You're getting some exposure here for this new product line.
Exactly. It's awesome. We're very pleased with that.
When you're thinking about actually putting this out there, doing this entirely new line of business and launching this campaign, can you tell me a little bit about the preparation that went into putting together the campaign? Like, what was the strategy like for the launch of the Kickstarter?
I mean, we started a while ago. So I mean, I would say there's the first strategy. The first we were really focusing on is obviously having, good assets in terms of great photos, make a good video that explains what the product is, and generally just create content that you can upload to Kickstarter and show the world what the product is online. And the second part of it, so I would say content, that's one part. The second part is communication. So how do we get out early, communicate to the press, communicate to people we know already? I mean, and you say, who do we know? I mean, we kind of, we're a small team of 10 people, and we said, it's not, I mean, obviously it's all our families, it's all our friends, it's pretty much everybody we have in our contact book. So you kind of have to be creative. I mean, where are, alleys or roads that you can go down that you have people you're trying to find people who are influencers that we're working with, that we know, have them help us spread the word. So kind of, we really sat for a while and said, what is the best strategy to kind of really spread the word about FLASK to as many people as possible?
Okay, so on the influencer point, I really want to talk about that because I think that's really important to getting the word out there, tapping into new audiences. So when it came to influencers, were these like Instagram influencers? Were they coffee bloggers? Who were these influencers that you were reaching out to?
All of those. Definitely people on social medias that we know. I mean, we've been deep engaged in the coffee industry, so we know, I would say, probably 90% of, coffee influencers and nerds around the world. So, so they are everywhere. They have blogs, they have Instagram profiles, they have Facebook, Twitters, I mean, whatever. All of these kind of things, yes.
Okay, and were you then getting them to, I guess, share this new project with their community? Were you doing sponsored posts, or like how were you getting in front of their audience?
So we actually didn't do any sponsored attempts during this campaign. And I know I don't know if that's right or if that's wrong, but that was what we at least decided to do in the beginning. And I think one of the reasons was that, I would say as we started the campaign, within the first 24 hours, I got maybe 150 people who wanted to sell their services.
Really? Wow.
And yeah, it was an enormous amount. And people, they wanted this and that. And the prices were really high. People, they could spread your word to 2 million or 3 million or, like big numbers. And after I read the first 20, I kind of gave up. And I said, let's not do it. Let's kind of really try to go the organic way, use our own network. And, I started to research a little bit. I asked people, I said, have you used people that you pay? And they said, yeah, but don't do it. Other people say, yeah, it helped a little bit. And I just said, well, there's such a mixed feeling about it. And, I didn't really want to throw good money after bad, go throw good money after something that wouldn't work. And so we decided not to go that route and spend money on it. Mm-hmm. There was also a lot of people who came in and say, well, we're doing this campaign and that campaign, we have kind of the same bagger. Why don't we join forces and we spread your word, you spread ours. And we also decided not to do that. We wanted to focus on us, on our product, and we didn't want to make things too complicated for the Kickstarter.
I had to interrupt this podcast episode because I want to introduce you to my friends at The Gadget Flow. Their product discovery platform reaches 22 million people per month. They've helped more than 5,000 crowdfunding campaigns thus far, and they have a social media following of more than 700,000 followers. If you want to gain access to their marketplace and list your own product, you can go to thegadgetflow.com/submit and list your project today. Okay, one other question I want to ask you about the media, because you got on a lot of publications here. Like, I'm looking here, you're on Coffee Talk, Daily Coffee News, Barista Magazine, the Boston Globe. You've been on a lot of different media publications and been cited by a lot of ones. Do you have any advice for people out there in the audience that are trying to get onto these media publications like you have, for getting in front of a journalist or for pitching a story? Do you have any advice to impart on that kind of a point?
Yes, first, it's all about the story. So you need a good story. That's obvious. You have to find out how you want to tell the story. You got to be short. You got to make sure that reading the headline tells a lot about the story. That's one thing. And second, there you have to be prepared for being rejected. Especially I would say a lot of press, especially when it comes to Kickstarter, and when they feel that you're using them in a very promotional sense, they're reluctant, and for good reasons. If they want to protect their integrity and so forth, so they don't want to be just a channel for advertising. Yeah. And I would say that's it. And then try to be creative. Think about, you have all the big magazines. There's a chance they'll pick up your story if it's right, but there's other ways as well. There's other kind of aggregators for communication out there that's good bloggers. Actually, a lot of maybe the good the big newspapers and magazines, they kind of sometimes get their stories from smaller blogs or other places. So be creative. Think broad. Mm-hmm.
I think that's really good advice, and it's also something where you have to recognize these people are human beings. They don't want to just be spammed. They don't just want to get a same blanket email. You really have to tailor your story in a way that's going to be appealing to write about you, not just something like you're trying to, run an advertisement on their blog or their website or something like that. So I think that's really good advice. When I was looking over some of the realizations you've had from running this campaign, one of the ones that stood out to me was that a lot of people are going to have questions and are going to want you to offer different things throughout a campaign. So maybe they're going to want different rewards, or going to have suggestions, this kind of stuff. How have you balanced this? And do you have any advice on if you are getting lots of feedback and you really can't please everyone? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's very good to be be open-minded, obviously, and humble, and listen to what people want. And I think you just have to follow your own feeling as you move forward. I mean, what we have been doing is we've added pledges along the campaign as we move forward. We've obviously there's some messages that you see on the site that everybody can see, but we also have a lot of private messages. And if you feel that that's actually a good idea, and we have now 5 or 6 or 10 asking for it, let's introduce it next time we reach a certain target. And we've been quite open. We've put in a lot of things that people have been asking for. Not everything, but I think you just have to feel, and as you move along, what is the right thing for you.
It seems like you've been very transparent and you've been working with the community rather than just trying to sell this product. It's almost been like a co-creation process where you're taking this feedback and you're then improving the product. I imagine when it goes live, either in retail stores, you're selling it online or whatever, it's also then going to have some of those elements. So you're sort of getting a better sales pitch also as you're going through the process.
Exactly. And I think that comes a little bit back to who we are as a company. We are, we're honest. We love what we're doing. And we want to be transparent. We have nothing to hide. And we like to work with the community to create a better product. We're not just some kind of generic product that we just push out there to make $10 million in no time. No, we want to create a genuinely good coffee brewer. And we want to make more products as we move forward. And I think we feel this is the right strategy for us. People would respect us long term for being like this.
Totally, 100%. So I want to ask you a question about your own skill set, because I think as the leader of this team, you have a certain perspective that other people don't have, because you're able to sort of coordinate these different pieces of the puzzle. You're able to motivate people, put teammates together. What are your thoughts on the new Kickstarter creators and new entrepreneurs assembling a team? Do you have any thoughts or wisdom to impart on how to assemble an effective team, how to motivate people, that kind of stuff?
I mean, you need to be open to, you need to bring in people that has skills that you don't have. So you need to make sure your team, you have people who can do that you don't become the lowest common denominator in that team. You have to bring in specialists. You have to bring in people with passion. You have to bring people in who is embracing the team spirit. And, if you just keep on going with these kind of qualities, then you'll get there.
Well said. Keep it simple. And I think what you said about complementary skill sets, that's something I struggle with also, because wanting to do everything yourself, while it's, you can get things done to a certain point, it then doesn't allow you to open up these projects to other people. That's kind of my own drawback, something that I need to get better at.
I think we all do. And, but when you kind of every time you open yourself and you see that, wow, that made me better, that worked, and that made all of it better, well, then you get better at it next time.
True. So your project is at $170,000. You have over 2,000 backers now. Do you have any more exciting announcements that are coming in the next 9 days? Any stretch goals? Anything we should be aware of that's going to be coming about in the next 9 days?
Well, we're having a stretch goal when we reach 250,000, which is a black matte ceramic version of the flask. And I think that's the next goal we're pushing for. Apart from that, we're just getting ready for production and getting it out to everybody's hands and kitchens. And there's a lot of exciting things going to happen in the next 4 to 5 months.
That's a big production run. I mean, you guys had a $40,000 goal, so you raised over 500% what you originally planned.
Exactly. Very excited. Very happy.
Did you expect to? Was this sort of just wow, I did not realize there's this much demand out there. Did you kind of surprise you, I guess, the level of funding?
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes. I would be very unhumble to say that no, I wasn't surprised. We were surprised. I mean, we kind of felt. I mean, being in the coffee world for this time, we felt that there was a need for what we did, and I think that the target was, how do we get out to enough people to tell them about it? Are people ready for it? Some people said this is January. This is not a good month to go on Kickstarter. So we didn't really know what to expect. We had a hope that it could be successful, and but we were also preparing ourselves that it might not be, might be the wrong time. It might be the wrong channel. But but I think it worked out well for us, so we're pleased.
A lot of people out there are wondering that same thing. Like January typically is a month where some people have said it's not so great to launch because it's just after the holidays. Don't launch during the holidays. Did you find that to be an impact at all? Or was this like Kickstarters are funded just every month of the year, didn't really matter?
Yeah, I mean, that's my feeling. The thing about all these kind of things, you can ask 10 people and you will get 10 different answers. So you have to follow your own gut feel at the end of the day. And yeah, was January, I mean, it worked well for us. So I could say January is good. I mean, would we have had a different result in July? I don't know. It's we're never going to find out. But I think now was the right timing for us. We were ready and we moved on it and we were successful.
I'm speaking to the crowdfunders in the audience who have already launched a Kickstarter campaign, or have actually even successfully run a campaign. And the reason is, I think you will understand this pain point most. And that is, when you finally do raise money on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, the hardest part is not collecting the cash. The hardest part is shipping out all of those perks and rewards to your backers. It is a nightmare, my friends. It's a lot of spreadsheets, it's a lot of headache, and it's a lot of stress. That's why I recommend BackerKit. If you have not heard of BackerKit, they help you collect surveys, they help you collect data, and the entire fulfillment process is just so much easier and so many less spreadsheets when you use their software. You can check them out at backerkit.com and use CrowdCrux for a special discount.
I just have one or two more questions for you here. The first one being, you've launched your very first Kickstarter campaign. You now have this entirely new product line going for consumers instead of more of commercial selling. You have a great product, something that's innovative, something that builds on some of the other inventions that are out there. And that's really has at the heart the people that are nerdy or that are loving of coffee, hipsters, all these different things. We have different names for them. But what for you was the most rewarding part of this process? What was the proudest part, or the part that makes you smile when you think about it? It could be maybe the design. It could be seeing this actually funded. It could be getting comments. What was the most rewarding part?
Again, it was a combination of all of it. It was just a fantastic run. People were complimentary, they were nice, they were enthusiastic. We reached our goal like up to all 5 times. So, I think all of that together was it feels like, well, it all worked together and people like it. We like it. We're doing something right. We hit it. We, did it.
Exactly. So where can people go and find out more information about FLASK? Where can they go and find out more information about maybe some of your other product lines in the future? Your website, or could you link that up for us?
Absolutely. So you can go to our website. Right now, the website is primarily linked back to Kickstarter, but as soon as the campaign is over, we will have a lot of information on our website, which is www.alphadomincia.com. Okay. And we will continue to push out more information. We will continue to, on our social media, talk about the product. So there will be much more coming up over the next 4 to 5 months before you get the product in your hand.
Okay, and that's alphadominche.com. FLASK is also on Kickstarter right now for 9 days to go at the time we're recording this. You can also get your pledge in. My final question for you here is, if you were to talk to yourself, or talk to, I guess, a team that's just now going into one of these projects, they're ready to launch the campaign, what advice would you impart, or a word of, encouragement? What would you say to that person who's right now in the trenches getting ready to launch one of these campaigns?
I mean, I would say that you have to, it's a lot of work. There's no shortcuts here. You got to make sure that everything you do is right. You have to, all your assets, all your copy and everything you do has to be done well. You have to work hard on it. You have to be transparent. Don't try to make, strange like price arrangements where you try to fool people or do anything that is not, done with full honesty. That's it. And then do it. It's fun. It's rewarding.
Thomas, thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll have to have you back, and looking forward to looking more into your product, because I myself am a coffee addict.
Sounds good. Thank you. It was great talking to you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. You got a lot of value out of it that you can apply to your upcoming crowdfunding campaign, that you can apply to your Kickstarter campaign, things that you can do to enhance your launch experience and make sure that you raise more money and that you do it faster. And you sort of stay clear of some of the common pitfalls when it comes to crowdfunding. The other thing I want to say here while I have you is that if you are at all interested in exploring a career as a blogger, if you're interested in working from home, traveling the world, or maybe you just want to build up some extra cash every single month, you want to develop a side passive income stream, that's fine too. I think blogging fits a lot of different types of lifestyles, but the one that it fits the best to me is someone who is not only interested in earning money online, not only interested in, doing cool stuff like being a quote unquote online influencer, but really someone that wants to help out other people. Someone that wants to provide teachings and articles and education to other people, and they can go and do things with that. They can enhance their life, they can earn more money with their business, they can accomplish and solve problems. I think blogging is an amazing fit if you're someone like me who likes helping other people from a very genuine perspective, where it comes from a very genuine place. So if you're interested in that, you're interested in exploring a different type of career or building this as a side income stream, and you want to make use of maybe some of these skills that have been dormant for many years. I didn't really ever think I was going to do anything with writing. That was just kind of like something that was fun, something that I like to do. I never really expected that would turn into a full-time job for me, but it's sometimes the things that we love to do or that we're good at naturally, or they're just a passion for us. Those are the things that we're the best at. They're easy to do and they're fun to improve and get better at. So if you're interested in exploring this side of you a little bit more, you can go to the link crowdcrux.com/blogging. That is crowdcrux.com/blogging. So that will take you to my Amazon book. This is a comprehensive book that will walk you through how to start a blog, how to monetize it, how to get traffic, how to build up your subscriber base, how to get raving fans, all of the kind of stuff that you really can do with blogging, I share with you, and many of the hard-earned lessons, many of the things that took me a long time to learn, and a lot of money and a lot of time. If you want to, invest in a higher, $1,000 course, I share all of this with you very candidly in my sort of hallmark fashion, breaking things down very simply and in sort of layman's terms. I do that for you with this book, Blogging for Beginners. So I hope that you enjoy it. Again, that's at crowdcrux.com/blogging. And I'll see you next time.